What if weight loss was not the goal of your weight loss journey? Sounds weird, right? Because for many, losing the weight has been the focus. But the thing is that if you actually focus on the things that you're willing and able to do, bonus points if you actually have exercise that you like to do, foods that are you know nutrient dense, fruits and vegetables that you actually like eating. Because if you start with your preferences, and by the way, that can be any activity, I can start with any food, nutrient rich or not. Um, Eventually, things will fall in line. You will start to eat more produce. You will start to drink more water. You will start to figure out a range as far as meal frequency and the types of meals that you like to have and that you can live with. And then as far as your workouts, again, if you start with the stuff that you like, you'll gradually start to do that activity more. You'll start to try other things besides that, and you'll end up building a more well rounded exercise routine. And if you find other areas in life where you can do activities that you enjoy and you're up and moving around, then you're starting to have the building blocks of your lifestyle. And if you build your lifestyle intentionally, and you do have to do it intentionally. See, a lot of what we hear is, "Oh, you can't be a diet; it's got to be a lifestyle." But then what they try to do is they try to take a diet and tell you that that needs to be the lifestyle. Lifestyle is all about your preferences, and when you when you get this lined up, your body will start to get to where it naturally wants to be. Are there outline examples of where there might be something else going on where it's not as simple and as straightforward as building a lifestyle around your preferences, and are you maybe not able to lose weight because of things that are going on within your body and health issues? Yes, but I would venture to say for most people that have been on weight loss journeys, especially those for years, if not more, um, you've tried to cram your life into the program instead of making a program that fits your life. And we all kind of know to do this, I think. I think if people were to ask us how we could make it a lifestyle, this is what we would tell others to do. But in our mind, we feel like we should be able to take the optimized program, whatever that is at the time, because there's been a lot of different optimized programs over the years, and make our life fit into it. But if you start by building this around your preferences, and then you will actually, it's easier to be consistent because you're doing things that you actually want to do and follow through on. I know this is very obvious, simple, and straightforward, but like, how much time do we actually talk about health and fitness like this? The goal is building the lifestyle that you actually want to do. And if you do that, other stuff starts to take care of itself. Now, once you have your foundation, if maybe you want to try things that are a little bit more challenging, maybe you want to do an eating plan in the short term that's a little bit more restrictive and focused on eating these certain foods, that's fine because you've got this foundation that you can fall back to. Um, it's we're told to make it a lifestyle, but all of the examples we're given and all the options we're given are basically short term. For the vast majority of people, they're not going to be able to just adopt a program and stick to it. And it's not a matter of willpower. Um, it's and again, you can do a diet if you like. If you can do a diet if you want anyway, but if you have this foundation, your forever active lifestyle, as I like to talk about it as, if you have that to fall back on, you can try a diet, you can try a short term program, like just to see what happens. But if it works out, or if it doesn't, you've got something to go back to. You have something to fall back on, that is based around your preferences. And that's another way that you start, excuse me, that you stop the start and stop of dieting. But like we've all become very accustomed to this. Let me do it in 6 months. Let me do it in 6 weeks. We're going to turn it on. You may be able to to push yourself through in the short term to get it done. But ultimately, like you don't necessarily, you might have bits and pieces there that you actually like to do. So you threw it, you keep those after you're off the program. But in general, like if it's something that's super restrictive and it doesn't fit your preferences, you're not willing to do it, you're not going to do it. And it's not a matter of willpower. Like having willpower around something that you just really straight up like can't stand doing. I'm not talking about the days that you don't want to do it, but you've already got something set up. Like some days with those, like when you have the days that you don't want to do it, some days you'll be like, cool, I don't want to do this. You take ownership of it and you skip it. Or you're like, hey, you know what? I'm gonna go ahead and do it anyway. I'm gonna go ahead and eat the meal. I'm gonna go ahead and follow the workout. Because like I don't want to do it today. But when I'm in this situation again, next week, next month, tomorrow, I can go back and be like, hey, I didn't want to do this that day. And I showed up and did it anyway. And mental, like you will remember that. It will help you. But also on the days, sometimes it's better for you to take, to skip it, whether that's the meal, the eating for the day, or the workout. Sometimes you flat just want to, and that's fine too. It's like if we're doing this as a lifestyle, we have days, weeks, months, years, and decades. And the longer that we go out and do this stuff, the less 7 days a week it has to be. Like consistency, I think for a lot of people, and I mean, I say this a lot, I think you can start honestly with 3 days a week with your eating and your exercise. That may be where you start for a while, meaning this is what I eat 3 days a week. This is how I exercise 3 days a week. Maybe on one day, maybe you're following the eating plan one day and you're following the workout plan the next, and that's covering 6 days a week. You're doing something, but wait, you're not properly fueling your body for your workouts. You're building your lifestyle. See, when you take the finish line off this stuff to build the foundation, there's no time requirements. You give yourself the time needed to actually figure it out. So building this is the goal. Weight loss ends up becoming the byproduct. Now, another thing that you'll hear me talk a lot about is that while you're doing this, the other goal of building the lifestyle that you like and want, it's going to calm down that mental tug of war of wanting to follow through with this or not. The whole thing, a lot of people will say, well, you got to have discipline. You got to really want it again on the days that you don't want to do it. Well, here's the thing. If every day you're trying to follow some program that you don't want to do, you're not going to do it. And I would much rather you follow something based around your preferences that you want to do than try to shoehorn something in the short term that you're just going to stop doing eventually anyway. Like we all do. We all do. So, it's if you can maintain this, and I think the other thing, I mean, I mentioned build it around your preferences. Other way that I like to say this is that if you took the next couple of years, 2 to 3 years, probably most likely won't take you this long because you've had a ton of experience with these programs, eating and exercise. You are the expert on your life. You know your schedule. What if you just took the next couple of years to figure out how things fit? And then as life changes, you can figure out how to make the adjustments again that you're willing and able to make. We'll call it trading years for decades. See, if fitness and weight loss were presented to you like this in the very beginning, you would not be on and off the diet roller coaster for years, decades, or most of your life. And that's what we're really, that's what we're working on here with this. So, but I mean, again, and with a lot of this stuff, it's counter to what you think the way fitness should be, but it's also intuitive to the way that if you think about it, if this is something that we're going to be wanting to do and really need to do, because it is important to be active for as long as we can, so we can have the best quality of life for as long as we can, So it is important, but like forcing ourselves to do something just because it's it's the way that's positioned and packaged as the way to do it, it isn't the play here. But it is how it's all been positioned to us for a very, very, very long time. And again, with consistency, and I mentioned this before, if we're looking at this big picture, the number of days within the week doesn't have to be as much. One, you can start off as slow. You could do something 1 day a week and gradually build from there. Because again, you're starting at your level with this stuff. But like the longer you go into this, it doesn't have to be 7 days a week. You could do 7 days a week for a couple of months. Well, I'd rather have you do 5 days a week for a year. Well, what if you did 3 days a week for 5 years? If you were going to fall off from the 5 days a week over the course of a year, I would rather you do less during the week, follow your plan less during the week, and, so that you stick with it long term. Ideally, maybe you do end up like, I do think building an active lifestyle that works for you, that you actually want to do, will lead to you doing something, probably multiple things, to benefit your health and well-being for the rest of your life eventually. I think that ends up the components of that and how everything's mixed together looks different for each and every one of us. But yes, that is something that I ultimately hope for you that you find. And again, because this is your health and your quality of life for the rest of your life. So it is super important. That is what I have for you. So if you're brand new to the podcast, if that's where you're listening, welcome. If you like what you're hearing, please go ahead and subscribe, and then share this episode with anybody that needs to hear it. If you're watching on YouTube, welcome. If you like what you're seeing, like what you're hearing, go ahead and subscribe, and of course share this video with anybody that you think would enjoy it or that would benefit from watching it. And also, if you're on YouTube, they're telling you that they're recommending a video for you to watch. Check that out. But I have a lot of content. I don't want you to spend a ton of time on content, but that will be popping up here. Depends how long it takes for me to wrap things up. But you'll see that here soon enough. What I will say is, with it being Friday, I make a point to not put content out on the weekends, because I think if you're around the age range that I'm in, which I'm in my early 40s now, you've been around all this technology stuff for the better part of almost 3 decades, maybe 3 decades for some people. And I think a lot of us are just like, we need a break. So in a world of constant information and constantly getting the content out, I'm not putting things out on the weekends. So yeah, take some time to yourself, figure things out, but just be present and enjoy your life. Seriously, time goes super fast. Hopefully you can be present and you can enjoy time that you have this weekend. So that is what I have for you. Thank you as always for watching and listening. And I'll talk to you again real soon.